From any tree of the garden you may eat freely, but from the tree of knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat. For in the day that you eat from it, you will surely die. Oh my gosh.
You just don't threaten us with a good time. When the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was desirable to make one wise, she took some of its fruit and ate.
Ooh, she ate.
Yeah, she did. And she didn't die. I mean, how come no one talks about God's empty threats?
And we shall continue to feast in her honor.
Oh my gosh, yes we will. Welcome to our knowledge feast. We like to call it biting all the apples.
We're just two gals eternally tempted by forbidden knowledge.
Inspired by the wisdom-seeking defiance of Eve, we're digging into the texts that challenge the status quo, that bust through binary thinking.
Get it? Biting all the apples? Biting into books?
Biting all of them. Last season, we focused on one book, the great 1895 bestseller, The Woman's Bible by Elizabeth Cady Stanton and her genius friends.
And this season, we're doing kind of a charcuterie board of books.
Yeah, and we're sticking with the knowledge is food metaphor.
Of course.
Yeah, yeah. You're like, it makes so much sense.
It does.
Even if we have to explain it to you all. I'm like, do you get it? Apples, books. Okay, knowledge.
Okay, get
Eve.
Get it.
Yeah, okay.
Are you with us? Stay there.
Yes, stay with us because we're selecting books that break the mold, that challenge our systems, and inspire our souls.
And instead of an entire season, we'll spend a couple of episodes on each book so we can cover more ground, break more brains open.
I can hear them cracking. Yeah, that's right. And I'm really excited about our lead-off book selection.
The Great Cosmic Mother by Monica Zhu and Barbara Moore.
Expert Scandinavian pronunciation.
I might move to Norway later.
Yes.
I'm thinking about it.
If they'll let us in. Will you take us? Call
Will you
us?
please? Yeah. Quickly, please.
This book takes it all the way back to the way back to the history before all the male conqueror history that we're taught in school.
Lady knowledge. There is so much good stuff in here.
For real. We're going to give you all the deets, tell you a bit about the authors, and talk about the first section of the book.
It is a very big book.
It is yes, it's hefty. It's husky.
It's husky. It's like weightlifting.
Yeah, it's
reading.
weightlifting.
Weightlifting knowledge.
Yeah, if you get this book, get 2.
Yeah.
So you can do curls.
Both, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
I mean,
balance yourself.
Yeah. But it's so big because it covers like a bajillion years of history and earth religion and culture building. But lucky for you, dear listener, we'll give you the highlights over the next couple episodes. We'll also, very importantly, cover some of the criticisms because this was written in the 70s.
70s,
yeah.
rewritten.
Yes, yes.
Yes, criticisms and ideas for how to take what's good about the book into the world now.
Right. The world now that could use some zhuzhing.
We need lots of zhuzhing.
Yeah, we could use some zhuzhing. But we're going to do all of that and more after a brief... I'm like, get ready.
Get ready for the more.
So yeah, all of that and more after a brief musical interlude.
So you can get settled.
That's right, settle down because it is time to
bite some apples.
Here we are. Oh my gosh, it is officially
Season 2.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited. I'm so excited. I don't even know what to talk about. I'm just kidding. We have a book.
Oh my gosh, we have a book. It's a phenomenal book. And I do want to give props to you, SK, because like the Woman's Bible, would have never heard of it, right? Mm-hmm. Like you have been on a journey, like your whole life, right? I came on this journey because I was losing my mind. And I was like, you were like, you should read this book. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then you're like, and then we need to do a podcast. And I was like, yes. And it has been my therapy. And it changed my life. because I knew I was feeling these things, but I didn't know why. Mm-hmm. And you have given me the why.
Yes. It was all me.
It was you.
The authors helped a bit, but really, I think it was me.
It was you. It was you, and probably the demise of democracy.
Yeah.
That little spurred it.
I think that all of this stuff is so, healing. Do I want to use the word healing? Or mind-opening, or it actually gives you an anchor because it does give voice and words to stuff that us women, we already know. We are it's almost like when you're reading these books, you're like, oh,
this is why
I already knew that, but I'm glad that I know it now.
Yeah. And that it's not just and it's that people have been thinking it for so long.
Yeah.
Right? That things, the way that we're living it's been not great.
It doesn't
for you.
jive.
Right?
Just to simplify it, I'm like, it isn't, I don't give a shit. Even the people that are conservatives and being like, this is going great. I'm like, it's not going great.
How can
are you working 50 hours a week and your big goal is to hoard more money? It's not jiving.
Yeah. How can that, do you feel fulfilled?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're spending enough time with your children?
Right.
Do you know your children?
Right. Do you know how to draw a cat? Oh. Which I think is truly the purpose of life.
If you don't know how to draw a cat,
yeah,
I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. And I will tell you, though, it is kind of a lifelong mission because my cats are pretty remedial that I draw. So again, we're looking at this book. It's called The Great Cosmic Mother, Rediscovering the Religion of the Earth. And this was written, was it 70s, 80s it came out?
Well, so it first started as a pamphlet. So, yeah. So Monica Zhu is actually an artist. Really, all of her, she was an artist, a painter and everything before she wrote anything. She feels like when she is doing art, she is like a vessel, I guess, right? So she was drawing these lovely pictures. Her most famous is, it's on the cover. I guess it's part of it.
God-Giving Birth.
God-Giving Birth. That's her most famous.
1968. So she was a hippie.
Oh, total hippie. And Miss Monica was sent the pamphlet for her somewhere. I should think she was in California. And they were like, hey, it was like a woman's wisdom. Again, hippie in California.
Right.
Monica was a hippie in Norway. But she got the pamphlet and she's like, this is fabulous. Met up with her. They worked together, made it into a longer, just an 80-page book, which, 80 pages. And then they were like, let's make this longer. So now it's 476 some pages. So
there are pictures, though, listeners. There's pictures.
Oh, there's pictures. Yeah.
Photos.
Now, Monica is more of a scholar, like a historical person. But both of these ladies, I was going to tell, I was leaving you some surprises.
Yeah.
So they met, they were rewriting, and Monica says, I just want to say Barbara did most of the writing. I'm just going to throw that out there. Because when we were rewriting from the 80 to the 400-page book, she had just lost her youngest son, 15 years old, was hit by a car in front of her.
Stop it.
In front of her.
No.
And that same year, her older son was already in the late stages of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and he passed away. Mm-mm. So she's like, I wasn't really available mentally, and she pulled the weight. Okay.
While they were writing a book called The Great Cosmic Mother.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So Miss Barbara, while they were doing all of that, she was on welfare. I think in Arizona or something. We'll check the notes. But she was on welfare. But when they got the first check for the book, right, she was able to get off of welfare. Well, she got off, and then just life circumstances, she ended up being homeless for homeless for many years. She had to send her girls to live with her eldest son and his wife, and she lived on the streets. And what she carried around with her was a bag with all the writings of this book.
Get out of here. Well, I already told you to get out. So come back in and then get out again.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's how this book was written in the midst of these two suffering women. Like, right? Is that crazy? I just got a little bit of chills.
That just gives me even more like respect for that. Yeah, that's amazing.
Right?
And sad and tragic and yeah.
Crazy.
And so, oh my gosh, I'm thinking, yeah.
Nuts, because this book is now taught in colleges.
Right.
Like, yep, there you go. That was my surprise.
I love that. You're like, surprise! Death and unhousement.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know.
It was awful. But like, through great suffering
comes long books.
Yeah, comes long books. With mind expanding. Like,
oh my gosh, that makes me happy that we're extending the and not that it's just us because we have found, by the way.
Oh my God,
we just do shout outs to all these.
Yes.
So I think your name is Zoe.
Yeah,
is it
love
Zoe?
her.
There's
love her
person
on Spotify.
Yeah. Even though I know you guys, Spotify,
I know it's awful,
but just
like
don't do the paid version. Yeah. Anyways, there is a person that's reading this book chapter by chapter. I'll put a link in the show notes.
I feel like she's my friend. Oh yeah,
yeah.
My friend is reading me a book.
Yeah, I have it. So we've developed a parasocial relationship with this reader.
I know. I don't know what her name is.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm hoping I'm not like misgendering. That's what I thought. They said Zoe. Whoever you are, we're going to send you a message, and I'm also going to put a link to this. So you have somebody that can read this 400-page book to you with fun. It's not a lot, but just a smidge bit of commentary. And this book does need a little bit of commentary because it is a product of second wave feminism, which, as we were talking about before, receives like it almost gets discounted now, where they're just like, well, that was just like rich white lady feminism or what, and it's like there were issues with it that it doesn't mean we should toss everything out. Same with this book. And that's what we're going to talk about too.
Because I know you were more into feminism than me earlier. Mm-hmm. Second wave. First wave.
That would be like our Elizabeth Cady Stantons.
Okay.
The
OGs.
movement. Yes.
Moving that way.
And
then 70s?
Late 60s. Probably people, and by the way, even though Joanna's giving me way too much credit because I know there are great women's studies scholars that would be like, technically it was 62, and what. But that's when they were doing all the awareness raising, like meetings, consciousness raising stuff. So that was second wave, and they really did a lot. That's what we're talking.
Credit cards?
Yeah, credit cards, jobs, more recognition of domestic labor. Even though a lot of the stuff we're talking about is kind of going backwards, it also if I had to do like criticisms to that second wave of feminism, it ended up being, and I'm not saying because there were some like radical people that were like F this, like the women that wrote this, and then like Angela Davis, like we have some like badass people that were like, no, this is a whole systemic thing, and you got to bring it all together.
Bring patriarchy
But in general,
down.
The products of that second wave kind of just were like, hey, can we participate in your bullshit capitalism?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, not like
did it really help us to be able to get jobs where we just got paid 80 cents on the dollar? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And did it really help us to get credit cards? I mean, it did in the context of capitalism, but it's still like we were left with the patriarchal system, and those changes happened despite men being against them. There was still, I even remember, like, my jobs in the 90s, men were still making fun of, like, women's lib. Because, I worked in a really, like, male-dominated field. I was working in video production.
Oh, yeah.
And they'd be like, can you grab that, the Airy Light kit? I'd be like, well, that's like the 300-pound one. And they're like, well, women's lib, and
little jabs.
Little jabs. And when I think back,
it's
I'm
almost
like,
the DEI.
Yes, and it makes sense because I'm like, actually, mid-90s, it's not that far. Men were still like, there's women here. Like, it's crazy.
It's uncomfortable to have them in the office.
Yes, exactly. I think back, I'm like, oh my God. Anyways, tangent. Mm-hmm. So that's second wave.
So are we third wave? Is that us?
No. Third wave happened. I'm like, no,
not yet. We're fourth. No,
we're third wave. That was us, Riot Girl. That was a lot of like date rape awareness.
Okay.
People were bringing up like rape culture. And again, though, people still, and I say people because I'm like, that's not accurate. And I don't like when people simplify and discount it. People seem to discuss the parts that came out of that where it was focused more, like the popular side of it. But there were people there were feminists in the third wave that were into like socialism and looking at the systems and looking at
they just
like
weren't
racism
they
and
weren't
stuff,
getting the
but they weren't
media
getting the
airplay.
media airplay. Riot girls were,
Okay.
At the same time, that was pretty awesome. And it was really popular. Like, I think back, like, not that long ago, we had so many media outlets and publications that came out of that third wave. We had Bust and Bitch and Jezebel. And these were like staples. And XO Jane. And all of these were, we used to be able to like publish our stuff. And it was like mainstream feminism and girl focused. That shit gone.
What? How?
All of it's
Why
gone.
though? Why? Where did it go?
They went out of business. Also, the demand. What do you mean? Where'd it go?
Wait,
Did
no,
you see how many
but
media people were in the Epstein files?
Oh my God,
Where do
yeah.
you think all those magazines went? I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. Interesting.
It is interesting,
Yeah.
isn't it?
There's not that. There are a few now, and in fact, listeners, if you know any, I know there's one called the 19th, and there's Dame. Dame is good, but all of those, they're like locked down. They don't like. A lot of them don't take submissions. It's very kind of like secret
Curated.
funding.
Yeah. Okay. And
But
you
back
can't put in
Back in the day, you could be like, "Bitch Magazine, I wrote this thing," and
put it out there.
It was so good.
Fabulous.
Yeah,
Oh, we need to bring that back.
I know. So that's my explanation of the waves of feminism. I probably left some gaps.
So the biggest criticism on this book is that they're not traditional feminists.
So even though I'm like, I was going to save criticism to the end, but no, we should do it. Let's do it.
Because I'm just curious.
And especially because, so I want to tell some of the criticisms, and that will help the framework for the rest of the. So, and our reader person talks about this too, but what came out of this era, kind of, I call it like the hippie, the second wave feminism, is when they really got into like the earth goddess and like reclaiming the mother spirit of the earth and women being like life and vessels of life and creativity. And at that time, this is kind of what we were first talking about when you were like, this is so good to read these books. It gives like words to what we're saying. So at that time, though, people need to understand women did not have any of this shit for themselves. So they were writing this stuff about like the divine feminine and the cosmic mother, and it was so liberating, and it gave them something to latch onto. Through today's lens, it has a lot of biological essentialism and gender essentialism. And it also like equates the idea that like women and feminine equal like peace and nonviolence and safety. Posing, and it's binary too, so then it's like, and then masculine is like violence and like acquisition, and it's like that is way too, and that's not where we're trying to go. It's
That's
way
too black and white.
It's way too black and white,
and that's not where we are today.
Exactly. The word for this type of feminism, hippie feminism, is called.
I like it.
Yeah, I know. But it's called ecofeminism.
Ooh.
But I would argue, and this is what we're going to like explore together, is that this is something that we shouldn't just discount. We should just update it with what we know now, because ecofeminism is an intersectional theory and movement developed in the 70s that links the oppression of women with the exploitation of nature, arguing both stem from patriarchal, capitalist, and hierarchical systems. And it advocates for a sustainable, nonviolent, and holistic worldview, demanding that environmental, feminist, and social justice issues be addressed together.
Yes.
But the critics, like with the idea of essentialism. So it's like the idea that they essentialize women as closer to nature than men.
Oh, okay.
And same thing, like women are the earth and we're the earth mother. It's like, but I also like when people are criticizing this stuff, I'm like, give women a break. We literally have had our history hidden from us. Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
We're having, like, sorry if we had a few bumps in the road.
Yeah. And it's not like, like, come on.
It's okay. And we just know more now. So I'm like, why don't we just work with that? Also, with this, too, is the Western centricity of it. It's all very, like, European based,
True.
focused on Western, white, maybe middle class, even though I'm like, well, we did just hear a story about the authors.
Yes. Yeah. Not middle class, right?
But now, and we've even seen this, like, remember the Women's March? That's when really, like, the idea of intersectionality really took hold, race and class into this as well. So this is being addressed. And then also the other criticism is that, even though I'm like, this one I don't totally agree with, but it's like they suggest that linking all social ills to patriarchy simplifies complex ecological problems. And I'm like, I think it just answers it. No.
But, because think about it. This was 30-some years ago.
50-some years ago.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Don't forget how old we are.
Shoot.
And
So,
sorry, we're always
like,
give these little middle-aged ladies a minute.
Oh, my God. So long. What? I'm a teenager.
I know.
The world has changed. So, of course, we're going to have it. But these were critics at the time, even. That's
this is, and I also
now?
have been, I've been looking into this as well. And then also hearing, that reader and some of the other people that we've listened to talk about this book, that there is so much good in here. And now that we have the framework, I'm like, just as we're discussing this stuff, and if you do pick up the book, keep that in mind, that although for a second it feels empowering to be like, yes, women are the earth. It's like, everybody is. We all are.
We're all humans.
Animals, plants, and men, women.
That'll bring us back
everybody
to the
in between.
Bible, women's Bible, where they were like, hold on. It was like the world, then human.
Yeah.
Not that we have dominion over it all.
Exactly.
We are all one.
Right.
And that's what I got from the beginning of this, is that we're connected like the ocean, like we are one.
So this first section, by the way, I forgot to also say when we're describing, where's my little note? This is the ecofeminism core principles, interconnected oppressions. Yes. The same mindset for the domination of women drives the destruction of nature. Mm-hmm. And then I would modernly add on, it also upholds the hierarchy of race and class. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's included. I'm just doing. I can't wait. I want somebody to correct us. Actually, correct or add to. Do it. I want to hear more. No, because I'm curious.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I obviously interconnectedness. I mean, class is a huge one.
I mean, you just cannot separate. You can't separate it. You can't separate misogyny and racism and classism.
No, they are interconnected.
Yes, they're interconnected, which is why we're ecofeminists. But
now I have a name for myself.
Yeah. And then also I brought this up, revaluing the feminine in nature. It challenges the dualism. So like culture, nature, male, female, human, animal, that place nature and women in subordinate positions. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But I love this part of it. It involves an ethic of care. And that is the part that I think is a great takeaway from this, where they talk a lot about, because this book goes through the history of different religious cultures and what people used to like worship and focus on and make and do. And they're simply saying that before we had this kind of conquering history, that this ethic of like care and nurture and creativity, like it's possible, and it happened, and people used to live like that.
And let's circle back.
Yeah, back.
Can we circle back?
Yep. And then the other core principle of ecofeminism is anti-capitalist and anti-patriarchal.
There you go.
Yep.
Explode your mind.
Yes. Get ready. I hope you're wearing a helmet.
Put your helmets on.
That's
it's time for biting all the apples.
That's right. Yeah. And so we'll probably talk about this book for the next 2 or 3 episodes.
At least.
It is. I mean, it's 4. We picked this book because it challenges the notion that history started with men and conquering and wars. And I don't know, hopefully some of your youngs did not have the same education, but in general, us Gen Xers, as far as history is concerned, it like started with Columbus.
Yeah.
Like as far as what we were taught.
Well, and it was getting better, but I hate to tell you, being in the field, it's going bad.
Yeah. So it's challenging that notion. And we just pick, if you think about what that does to all girls growing up, where you literally are just like, I guess only 2 women were in history, Sacagawea and Betsy Ross.
Yeah, I
Cool.
guess it's, I guess I'll be a, a daycare worker.
I know, exactly.
Or a teacher. There's a lot of ladies teaching.
So it challenges that notion that history started with men and the notion that women were, I have in my notes at NCP, or what is it called? Non-character player.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, what's that called?
Non-character player.
And
Learned
that women
from a child.
were NCPs in creation of modern civilization, which is not true. And this book actually is all about, they're like, actually, women were the ones that found and used fire.
Yeah,
You motherfuckers.
actually, on the cave paintings, all the glory goes to the ladies.
Yeah, exactly. So stuff like that. And that's why we chose this book, because all the stuff that we're choosing is to challenge a norm. That it's like we absorb these norms through culture and society, and and they're reinforced everywhere.
Like even in your commercials, like everywhere. It's insane.
Yes, everywhere. And so that's why we picked the book. And then we're just going to go, and I know we're already like deep into it. For this time, we're just going to discuss the first section, which is the first 5 chapters. It gives an overview of the women's contributions that the book goes deeper into later. But women's contributions to culture and language and art, which I guess is culture. Sorry, whatever. It goes over women's contribution to culture. You get it. And then, and it covers bias and the biological information that we were taught. So this first section, it sets up kind of the problem that the rest of the book that we're biting into. The rest of the book will address that, and we'll get into that stuff next episode. But we'll just, so this first part, you said that you had, I know, okay.
Epiphanies, and like, I had so many, first of all, this is game changer, what people need to hear right now, because we are having a full-on assault on our trans community in the United States.
Oh my God.
Fuck
chapter, off, Kansas.
Yeah,
sorry.
Fuck you, Kansas. I can't. And the fact that everybody isn't like losing their minds right now, because again, first they came for them, but then they're gonna come for you,
right.
Debbie.
Right.
Anyways, they took.
Anyways, the book.
The book says, Kansas, you're idiots.
Yeah, exactly. It says it right there on page 4.
So it goes into the formation of humans, but it goes way back. Like, I love that it starts with the ocean is the womb, which again, this connects you.
It's true.
It connects us all.
That's why we like staring at it.
Right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We are connected to the earth. Mm-hmm. The earth is our life source.
Right.
And we are just like it. But yeah, so we're 70% water, right? I've always thought that, but I was thinking of it more through an environmental lens. This brought me to when we're like the whole formation of life. Like we have a womb, there's water in there. Mm-hmm. You need it to be a wet.
Oh, yeah.
You need this internal body of water to grow this life. And then I was like, yeah, why are we not revered? Like, men can't do that. Like, obviously, we're special.
Right.
And this, then thinking about because we have trans friends, family, and the struggle that is everyday life now is like they've been made a scapegoat. They're reading this, you realize, oh my God, like if we were evolved, who knows what we would be like?
Right.
Because our makeup, we could go either way until 8 weeks.
In gestation.
You are female.
Everybody embryos
are female until 8 weeks, like 2 months.
Yeah.
And then if a little spermie comes in there and it's got the Y, that's when things change. Mm-hmm. but we all start the same. And then you got the genetic makeup and it's all blah, 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 but you get a little bit of both. And you know that it's not going to be precise, right?
Right.
It's just like if you look at your siblings, you're like, I mean, yeah, you look a lot like me, but I definitely look more like mom, or I definitely look a little more like dad. And that goes with the sex.
These are concepts people have embraced a long time ago, which is what this book is about.
Yeah.
And this first chapter, by the way, which I didn't even tell you, the title of the first section is called Women's Early Culture Beginnings. And the first chapter that Joanna is discussing with great enthusiasm is called The First Sex. In the beginning, we were all created female.
Yeah. It's fascinating. And the other concept mentioned in there that I went on a deep dive on, because I'm like, not a scientist. Parthenogenesis. It is asexual reproduction.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, it happens. Yep.
I will give props to earth.org because I found this article, but it was mainly about protecting endangered species. But they were talking about parthenogenesis. And I thought this was mind-blowing because we just got off of the Woman's Bible. What do you think parthenogenesis means in Greek? Virgin birth. Mic drop.
Right. You're like, that's how much it blew my mind.
Drop the mic.
I just reversed my...
Throw that mic. Right? I read that and I was like, oh my God. Virgin birth.
Virgin birth. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Yeah. So plants, think about when you love plants, they produce clones of themselves.
Yeah, they do.
They reproduce. They are living things just like us.
Yes.
We're all connected.
Yes.
In 2017, a zebra shark in Australia gave birth without having any connection to anybody.
Get out of here.
His name was Leonie. 2015, a reticulated python named Thelma had 6 eggs in a cage at the Louisville Zoo. 2006, a kimono dragon Flora had babies in the Chester Zoo in England, had no penetrative sex. And of
Love
course,
the name Flora, by the way.
I know.
Especially for a kimono dragon.
And then Aristotle even talked about parthenogenesis as related to virgin birth. Aristotle.
You're like, hello.
That's so long ago.
Crazy.
So she talks about there was a woman that was evolving and she lived in the water like a mammal. And apparently humans have a lot of aquatic mammal features still.
Yeah, we just crawled right out of the ocean.
And we crawled
I don't know why
out the
people don't get
ocean.
it. We come from fish. That's where we got our eyes.
But-
I don't know what I just said, but just don't worry about
But
it.
yeah, so I was just blown away. Also, I always thought gonads was a man thing. No, we both have gonads.
Yeah, the only reason I know that is because I've been had a lot of imaging
Yes.
taken being a cancer survivor.
Yeah.
And I remember one time the lady gave me that big metal cover and she's like, gotta protect your gonads. And I'm like, what?
Wait, I don't have those.
I know.
And she's like, we all have them,
We all-
honey.
They're like, honey, just put this over your gonads. And I'm like, you put this over your gonads. Just
I don't have no gonads.
this
But
is
yeah,
the important takeaway is that knowledge is so essential to understanding how much gender is constructed by culture.
yeah.
You know, and it also shows
It's made up.
how this is why I guess they're still out there, but I don't get feminists that are not super pro trans rights because that, you know, all the LGBTQ, I'm like, all of that anti, you know, the crazy right wing stuff, it all boils down to the fact that these are people that need us to adhere to these gender norms that they made up that are really just directly related to property.
Yeah. Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I just like, you know, boil it down to, I'm like, essentially that's what it is. It's about property and it's about controlling women's labor, which is very valuable. It's so valuable that they had to not pay us for it because they can't afford it.
Yeah. They're like, ooh, that's
But like
a
we said,
lot.
all the, you know, I call it like kin keeping and connectivity and child rearing and community work.
Yeah.
Tons of
building those churches.
Yeah.
Having those bake sales.
Right. Bake sales.
Who's
bitches.
doing that?
I'm like, so essentially, this is good for, anyways,
And-
I know there's people that have done, I feel so like remedial talking about this just because I'm not as schooled in gender studies. I know there's like a lot more work on that. But so there's people probably listening that are like, well, no shit. But just so you know, we're just two small town gals.
And yeah.
And that's just chapter 1.
Changing the world.
I know.
Mind blown. My mind is blown.
The next, and we don't have to go through like chapter by chapter. The next, like I said, there's five chapters in the first section. The first one, already says first sex. The second one is Marx and the matriarchy. The third one is the original Black mother. And then the fourth one is women as culture creators. And the fifth is the first speech. All of them had things that did blow my mind. The Marx and the matriarchy chapter is great because they acknowledge the work of like Marx and Engels, and they're like, yeah, they are totally badass. They got the whole class consciousness, workers stuff going. But have a critic. I'm like, but
there's a big but.
And for time, and also just to give the overview of it, the chapter is really about, they're like, they were cool and they like pick on religion and blah, blah, blah. But because they're just like white Western males, they can't even see or acknowledge that women were the original commies. That's the summary of that chapter.
I love that.
Yeah, they're like a long, long time ago, like women were already like doing this. And they're all
like,
of their
no,
theories.
I just thought of it. Yeah. It's the theory has my name on it.
Yeah. But they're so based in, and it is, after reading this, it does make me look at, as much as maybe I'm not 100% commie, but reading Marx like greatly affected me because, say what you will, he had some some good
really
thoughts
good thoughts
that to this day I still find myself quoting.
Yeah,
but it still is very much based in like commodity and production. So it's like it's a framework that operates in response to the very thing that we want to get rid of in the first fucking place.
But see, they weren't there yet.
Right.
Like now we're always evolving as a species.
Thank goodness. Even though, you know what, if you watch the news, you may disagree, but I believe that in real life we are evolving.
Yeah, not all of us, but that happens in all species, right? Some of them are just like,
some of them aren't gonna make it.
They're not gonna make it. They're gonna be like, yep, that's not evolving.
Yeah. We'll find them all in like super churches in like a decade. We'll be like, look at them. They're still trying.
And the rest of us will be living our lives and they'll be like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. We'll be like, too bad.
Should have bit some apples.
So the chapter is about their attempts to kind of explain women's oppression to women.
Mansplaining?
So it's actually about Marx mansplaining. And not that they completely failed, but just they don't have the framework. They
because they
and
can't.
especially, speaking of 19th century thinkers, still they're so like gendered. They weren't as radical in this. This is interesting. Another problem area among Marxists is the assumption that the matriarchal society, where it existed, occurred only at very low stages of production and only under primitive, quote-unquote, conditions. This assumption echoes the generalized linearity and chauvinism of Western history, which tends to see all other cultures, other in space and time, as mere preliminary stages on the way toward modern development, or as sadly failed attempts to achieve the freeway and the ball bearing. Now, and that ties into the other chapter in this section that talks about women as culture creators. That's where she talks about, or she's two authors. They talk about how advanced these early societies were. And I got to tell you, my brain had just assumed that too. Like before like we had industry, people were just, eating salted beef and, washing in the creek. And it's like, no. And that's what she said. Women as culture creators, women were the first to really use fire, and they did cooking and ceramics, and they became experts with like plants and plant medicine and different arts and crafts, and they developed language, which is the other chapter that's in this
huge.
book. And so that really blows open this idea in it.
That men were the only ones that created our culture.
Or that old, like, to me, the Marx chapter points out just how much they were still influenced by capitalism, even though they were trying to be like,
get away
capitalism.
from it.
I was like, you actually are still using that framework.
Well,
for even looking at like history.
Change is hard, right?
Yeah.
So like that's why it's so slow, I think.
And so so the other two chapters that kind of relates to are how women came up with the first speech, because they were the ones with the children. They were like in, I don't say, in community way more often than at the time. And we also have this idea that just men went out and hunted, which isn't entirely true. That's like a romantic notion. Mm-hmm. By the way, women hunted too.
Really well.
Really well. Reading that, I'm like, I know there's another quote. Just by the way, in one of the chapters when she's talking about women as culture creators, she talks about the word radical comes from the word radix, root, and means getting to the root of things. These cultural inventions of early women were at the very root of human existence. They created what we know as human life. When we say that women created most of the early human culture, we are not trying to sound radical. The evidence is there, quite tangible, when we realize how many basic life industries were the inventions of women. Cooking, food processing and storage, ceramics, weaving, textiles and design, tanning and dyeing of leathers, by the way, everything related to fire, including chemistry and metallurgy, the medicinal arts, language itself, and the first scripts and glyphs, grain domestication, animal domestication, religious imagery and ritual, domestic and sacred architecture, the first calendars, and the origins of astronomy, and on and on. All women.
Yeah, we have to have a history month.
Yeah, which is right now.
We are.
Just a whole month, even though we're like, hello.
Well, it started out as a week.
So, but I think a big takeaway to reading these kinds of, feminist takes on early history is to examine and open up that notion. We are taught about history in such a linear fashion. And in America, it's so crazy how we worship the past, but not the too far past. We worship it, where we're like, that's how they used to do it in the olden days, so automatically it has authority.
Yeah.
But if you go further back, we're supposed to think of any civilization before, like, quote unquote, Western civilization, which is a problematic term anyways. But I'm just thinking of like industry and colonialism and all that. Like anything before that, people were just barefoot barbarians. Like let me know if I'm wrong, but literally that's the if you're a person that just went to like public school in the 80s and 90s and you didn't do any more reading, that's probably
all
what you
got.
think of Iran right now.
Yep.
Seriously. You're like, they're just
gosh.
backwards.
They don't even wear pants.
So,
and they're just praying all the time.
And so I'll read, this is a little bit longer passage, but it's good. And then we'll wrap up. So I don't want to keep talking about it. When all these scholars of Africa and their data are telling us is that human development does not proceed in a straight line from the primitive to the advanced. Nothing in nature proceeds in straight lines, but in circles, which I've always believed. I'm like, and they do it in cycles. I always say it's even more of like a spiral. Because it's like, it doesn't always go back. Even though nature, like the seasons are in a nature, but you never go back to the same season.
No.
You don't have two of the same summers.
No, you don't.
Different.
Yeah.
And human cultures, too, like individual human beings, go through cycles of development and regression. Empires do rise and fall. Mm-hmm. And cultures that now appear primitive or never developed could well be sitting on the rubble of great past civilizations, once built by their ancestors, once flourishing, and then disintegrating under a multitude of pressures. This point is important for women investigating the past existence of matriarchies, as well as for students of ancient African glories, for the same patterns apply to both. The contemporary Western world, ruled by an essentially white patriarchal elite, sees itself as the peak of human development in its linear view. All past cultures were by nature inferior, right?
Yeah. Hilarious.
That's like the notion you pick up. They're like, that's just whatever. Simply because they came earlier in time. By the way, we don't even know what time is if
Right?
you want to trip out.
Exactly.
So-
I do. I have been
Yes,
because I
I love
learned about
tripping out.
Rome. And
Exactly. And they're gonna, it's crazy.
I'm like, how far does it go, man? I don't know.
So simply because they came earlier in time and existed mainly not on their own right or in their own terms, but as mere steps on a grand stairway leading up to the supreme white maledom. And that is, they want us to think of all these past civilizations as like, well, that's just like the build up to like this awesome
Look
mega.
at us.
Yeah. They're like, and you even
lift some weights.
you even hear those fuckers talking about
bombs.
it. You literally heard these fascists
Yes, that's what they
talk about. We come from, they mentioned civilization. We come from a long, and I'm like, oh, we've all built up to this moment? Fucking
Oh
take
my
me
God.
back.
If that's the elite, we got some tweaking to do.
Yeah, exactly. So this linear development process is rarely questioned. No more than white male dominance is questioned. In the official view, it just comes from God.
Oh my, yeah. Oh,
That's what I'm saying. This is all goes back. So, anyways, there's a bajillion. Oh wait. Oh, actually, let me finish that sentence.
oh yeah.
No more than the white male dominance is questioned. In the official view, it just comes from God, or derives from Newton in the internal combustion engine. Confronted with evidence from archaeology, anthropology, mythology, strange dreams of the existence of past cultures, whether of Black Africans or of Central American Mayas, or of Mediterranean matriarchies, for example. In Anatolia, Crete, Malta, Etruria, the historical tendency of white patriarchy has been absolutely to deny these early cultures and mock their evidence. By the way, I could continue. I'm like, ooh, I forgot, this is real good. There's a lot of good stuff right after this. So I said that was the last thing, but I gotta read
Yeah, I
this.
get it because I want to hear it.
This is setting up for the rest of the book and our next episode.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, how did we get here? On the ground level of being, the average adult member of a hunting and gathering culture, even in some environments called sparse by our standards, worked only 15 hours a week to fill sustenance needs.
That's
I know,
what
you're not,
15 hours.
Yeah.
That's literally seriously.
I know. Worked only 15 hours a week to fill sustenance needs. The rest of the time was spent in leisure activity, arts and crafts, spiritual ecstasy, running, swimming, making love. Doesn't say orgy or
lovely.
just like...
But they must have been.
Yeah.
I think so.
I don't know. I'm going to see. I can't, yeah. Just wait for our orgy episode.
Got to find the book. The history of orgies.
Why am I like, ha ha ha? Eyes wide shut. Making love, eating, goofing around. I really think the value of goofing around is like superior. You should do more goofing.
When do you feel your best?
Yeah.
Goofing around. What are dogs doing? Look at how happy dogs are.
I know. They're fucking goofing around. Fucking. I did it again. Sorry. Dogs are goofing around. I'm not using the F word. How's this? You should not trust people that don't goof around. And you know who doesn't goof around and is humorless?
Doofus in charge.
How'd you know? The Orange Menace.
Seems to be living on top of my head
Yeah.
for decades.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of disgustingness.
I know. I'm like, he doesn't goof around. So, anyways, in our advanced Western culture, the average male's work week is 45 hours. The average female's is 77 hours. You were like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, because you leave work and you go to work.
And again, this is what, the 1990 version of the book? So 77 hours. And by the way, since this book was written, we've had so many technological advancements. You would think that it freed up time, but guess what? You just had to get more productive at work.
More mental.
Yeah. So there you go. And then also child rearing is like more time consuming now because you have to be everywhere and
because they're scheduled and you got to go here and you got to go there and you got to take them there and take them home and feed them. You got to feed them. Oops, I forgot to feed them.
And you can't just throw them outside like we were raised.
No, because it's scary out there and there's weirdos.
There were way more weirdos when we were kids, by the way.
Yeah.
Michigan is known for its kidnapping.
Go take your bike and ride for 5 hours.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know where you are.
So we have, and again, this is in the 90s. A lot of employed people seem to be working more and more and enjoying it less. The unemployed and underemployed are working less and enjoying it less. Certainly, there's less joy, grace, creativity, and wonder in our average daily life than there is in daily experience of the average Kalahari bushman or Australian outback Martukuja? Australian outback Martukuja.
Sure.
You were in Australia. You don't know how to...
I know.
You're like, no, do it yourself. Okay.
I did not learn
Those
that
are
one.
We don't have to prove this statement. We believe we all know somewhere deep in our beings that it is so. Modern existence, in the long run, profits very few at the expense of too many. So how did we get here, and how do we get out?
How do we get out?
I love that. See, they're going to talk. So for the rest of this book, they're going to talk about how we got here.
And then how do we get out?
How do we get out? I'm going to skip to how do we get out. Chapter, how do we get out of here? I'm just kidding.
Please tell me, because you're saying the 90s were bad, and it is infinitely worse.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
We were in a war in the Middle East in the 90s, too. Oh, my God. Is there any difference?
It's like we're here again,
Yeah.
but with way worse people. And I thought those people that got us in the 90s and then in 2003 were just terrible. But little did I know.
Yeah. But I think this kind of thinking, it's interesting that she talks about proof. She's like, we don't need this, like, proof. Y'all know this.
Yeah.
You all know this.
And that's kind of what I felt like when I was reading. I'm like, wait a minute. I kind of felt it.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I grew a life. I knew that felt crazy and powerful and like I have very little control over that. Like,
yeah.
It's just happening and it's amazing.
It's cosmic and yeah.
But like, you don't hear that. But
Because-
this was like, yeah.
So and that's why books like this, The Great Cosmic Mother, and these kind of like, I don't want to say they're pseudo-anthropological, but they don't follow this like ultra-scientific method, but that is a product of the patriarchy. This idea that you need to have written proof, you need to have, these standards, and blah, blah, blah. And I love that the authors are like,
no,
you
F
know.
you.
They're like, that's bullshit.
And think about, I know I always bring up Jane Goodall, but I'm going to do it again.
You're like carrying a
All right.
heated rivalry.
Yes.
We have a friend that like can't go an hour without being like, that reminds me of heated rivalry.
Did you hear about heated rivalry? Here's a clip. I'm like that with Jane Goodall.
Yeah. You're like, everybody's got their thing.
Dude.
Yeah.
But scientific community, right? She just was doing what she felt like, probably her innate, like how she was created, because she was doing it as a child, watching animals. And she takes all this crazy research that says apes use tools. Like, this is like crazy, groundbreaking. And they're like, you name the apes. We don't name apes.
That's not the rules.
They should be numbers.
Yeah.
You're talking that he felt sad. But she was like, yeah, because he was sad.
Yeah, like what? What's
like
the
I
problem?
sat with him. Graybeard was sad.
Yeah.
And her work has transformed everything we know. Because before her, it was humans were separate from all other animals.
We had dominion over animals.
Yeah.
As written by the fake Bible.
And here's little Jane, only trained to be a secretary.
Yep.
And she's like, well, actually, I like hung out with them and lived with them. And yeah, they're like us. They're exactly like us.
Isn't that interesting? So
they can be assholes too.
That is a devaluing of our knowing. And so I think that is such a good thing to end on, because I want y'all to think about what would happen if you really did just know that you knew. You
lean
already
in.
know. You lean in. Like,
lean into
everybody
those
has these
feelings.
things. Yeah. Yeah.
Lean into what you're like, I think
Yeah.
this is the answer. It probably is.
And if the voice in your head that's like, well, no, because this and that, and people do it like this, just know that that's not your voice. That's the voice of some patriarchal BS.
Yeah, total BS. We're breaking through that.
That's
Stop
right.
it. Stop it, people.
Stop it. Stop it. I hope that we have inspired you
And you're going to come back.
You got to come back. We are going to get into, in the next section that we're getting into next week, part 2 of the whole book. And it's a big old chunk. And I mean, the next episode will probably be a little shorter. We just had to it's called Women's Early Religion. And as you know, this is, even if we do go on tangents, it's a relatively short podcast for a 400-page book.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear what you think if you have read this text.
Because I think a lot of people have.
A lot of people have.
I mean, obviously,
sometimes
some of you might read it in college, apparently.
Know. I'm like, I'm a late bloomer, so I'm like, I just read it. Yeah, I'm 50. So,
50. It was 1990. And this was printed.
And we are jamming now. Season 2 has started. We have a few books in the hopper.
In the hopper.
But we want to hear what book do we got to know about? What book took what you thought about something and just was like, whatever. So.
And what do you think? Like, we're going to take it and we're going to be like, what?
I know. But I didn't even know.
I never even heard of this book. Where did you find it? And now we have to bite it.
Yeah, and we have to bite that apple.
We want to bite your books.
That's right. So reach out to us. Info is in the show notes.
I love show notes.
We're so happy to be back.
Yay!
And I know the world is nuts. Schedule. But we're going to show people how to go nuts.
That's right. We're going to go nuts with some donuts.
Ooh, that's good.
I do like donuts.
That's good. All right, y'all. Have a fabulous week.
Yes, we love you. Love you. See you. Bye-bye.